Brothers and sisters, future news. Future news, brothers and sisters. Suleiman Rahim here. Rest of the covenant. Break of 7 seals. Again, brothers and sisters, the challenge. Open challenge. Open challenge, brothers and sisters. How come they don't step up and take it? Because they definitely want this shut down because they're liars over there. We're going to talk a little bit about that. They're liars. My name is Legion, and we are many. That's the chief demon. Louis Legion. Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds. Turn N-O-I backwards. See, that's what it is. That's not conjecture. That's exactly what it is. You got to understand the scriptures, brothers and sisters. Right? The unsealed Bible reveals everything about this season. And they don't step up because they're liars over there. And we're going to talk about that. See, because he's a liar, and all those that supporting him, or so-called ministers, they all are doomed to an evil fate. Evil fate. Because, first of all, as ministers, they should be researching and verifying what he's saying as opposed to just reflecting what he's saying. See, that's the difference. Because the scriptures tell you, right, to verify all truths. Tells you that. And any reading of the scriptures, any reading will reveal lying dog Farrakhan as a no good, lying demon, son of a devil. Any scripture, if you call him Aaron, I don't know what you call him. He's a lying, no good son of a devil. Period. He even claims, he tells you, even scientifically, forget about the scripture, no matter how you come at him, politically, scientifically, biologically, right, scripturally, he comes up stinking foul. A pile of shit. Period. Biology. You claim you teach this biology. You claim you with mathematics. Well, biology tells you he's a demon. He's what his father is. Talking about what? God made us in the womb. Okay, then what do you need the mother father for then? What do you need him for? He says his father is a devil. That means he's a devil. He starts a sperm. I don't know how you come at it. He's no good. And all those that's representing him and claim they're representing him, there's no excuse for them. They will not survive. And we already aware of those false sisters that sit up there every Sunday morning, clap, hey, go on, we love you. We know who you are too. We know you ain't got nothing to do with Islam. They pay you to sit up there. They pay you up there every Sunday morning, so it looks like his so-called mosque is populated. They paying you, because we're ready to check you out. We seen you when you ain't there, with your little shorty pants on, right? And all those stuff you be doing. So, Tic Toc. Move on, brothers and sisters. Come and get the 5,000. And your 10,000 that you're offering, I'll take the challenge, but you can't contact you because it's a lie. Because I can prove he's a lying, no good devil 7 times a day, 1,000 times on Saturday. Every day, because he's a no good goddamn liar. He does represent Elijah Muhammad any way, frame, shape, or fashion. So no matter how you come at it, biologically, scientifically, mathematically, he comes up stinking. And I can prove it. And we can do it publicly so everybody can see it. But you won't open the door for me to do that, and you won't come through this door to do this one. Because you're all liars over there. Tic Toc, Tic Toc. Okay, bro, sis, I want you to listen to something here. Hold on a second here. I want you to listen to something here, bro, sis, for a second. Nah. Let's see here how we do this. Oh. Okay. Let me see how to do this here. Okay. Here we go. I'll just list this for a second, brothers and sisters. It's about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll talk about it in the back end. See? Because this is, just listen for about 5 minutes, brothers and sisters.
Thinking independently. Now, yesterday, I was talking with Doc about what explains the Iranian thinking. I mean, these people, these are the Persians, okay? Regardless of what you think about the religious leaders of Iran, okay, the country itself, this is Persia, with a long, long history, thousands of years, okay? They're not stupid. Clearly, they're not a stupid people. They're intelligent people. They've been around at least 3,000 years, so they've been through a lot of wars, and they've survived them. They did this limited attack on Israel, which on the surface you think, why would you do it that way, knowing that Israel is going to hit you? What is your thinking? Are you afraid to go ahead and do the full attack? Or are you baiting Israel to come in deeper before you hit them harder? What's the thinking? Because clearly Israel is going to attack Iran. The pressure is now on Israel. Well, hit them hard, but don't knock them out. Make them see stars, but, don't destroy them.
Right.
That's the political pressure right now. Netanyahu wants to destroy them. But he's under pressure from the G7. You can break their leg, but you can't kill them. Iran is going to hit back.
Right.
But most likely Iran is not going to hit back the next time as hard as it could. It's going to escalate the attack. That's what I was saying a few minutes ago. The next couple of weeks or months, we're going to see these escalations between Iran and Israel. I saw this interview yesterday on Sky News in Europe. And Sky News interviewed an Iranian professor, Mohammad Marandi. And I want you to listen to what he said and notice the smile on his face. And just pay close attention to what this Iranian professor said to the Sky News reporter who wasn't expecting this professor to talk back so strongly. Let's watch.
Well, Professor Mohammad Morandi from the University of Tehran joins us now. Thank you very much for being with us, Professor. I just wonder, first of all, what has Iran achieved by this attack on Israel? Very few of the missiles got through. It, in effect, failed. Many people are calling it a humiliation for Iran.
I think that's a lot of wishful thinking on behalf of you and your colleagues at Sky News. It was a massive blow to the Israeli regime. And the history of this conflict doesn't go back to last year. It is 76 years of ethno-supremacism, ethnic cleansing, and this is a racist regime that you support. What the problem is that you cannot recognize that the difference between you and us and racial hierarchy, and we reject it. And the Israeli regime, if they dare strike back at Iran, we will hit them much harder next time. We will beat them into submission.
Well, they will strike back, won't they? No sovereign country can put up with having 180 ballistic missiles fired at them. So they will hit back, they will hit hard, and they could well hit your nuclear facilities, your oil production installations. They could cause Iran serious damage.
Listen, instead of the rhetoric, be real, because you're misleading your own people. Iran has countless underground missile sites with hundreds of thousands of missiles across the country. They were made after the U.S. invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan to deal with a potential war with the United States. So this puny regime, it is not a state, it is a colony. It is a racist, ethno-supremacist colony which the people call themselves the chosen people. Unlike you, we do not believe in chosen people. And the Palestinian people on that land who've been displaced and pushed into Gaza and who've been slaughtered regularly over 76 years, we will not stand for that. All people in the whole of Palestine must be equal. The Israeli regime, if they strike Iran, we will hit them much harder next time. And they can pretend that they got away, but we hit them very hard last night. We hit their bases. And unlike the Israeli regime, which constantly carries out slaughter and genocide and is carrying out a Holocaust in Gaza, we struck their military targets because unlike you, we actually care about human rights, not you.
Professor, let me just say that we're on the verge of an all-out war, or certainly a war between Israel and Iran. It could be a war that Iran loses. If Iran does lose that war, do you think that the current Iranian regime could survive a defeat? Because that is if what you say is right, and Iran is going to hit back even harder, that could be where this all ends up.
Iran will not hit back harder. Iran will hit back much harder. The head of the Iranian forces says Iran will target and destroy all of the Israeli regime's infrastructure. This was the tip of the iceberg. Iran will lose no war. The Israeli regime will. It is time for you and others to end your racism and to end your support for the superior race and to accept that all people in Palestine have equal rights and the Palestinian people have a right of return. Jews, Christians, and Muslims are equal. Unlike what you say, they are equal, and we will accept nothing less than that. The regime must go, and all people must be treated equally. Right. And if the only thing, there's no doubt that Israel will lose, but the only variable here is the United States. If the United States gets involved, have no doubt, the U.S. will be swept out of Iraq by the Iraqi resistance, and all its assets in the Persian Gulf will be destroyed. All those regimes that U.S. bases will be destroyed, and the oil and gas markets will cause a situation where the global economy will collapse and millions of people will be on the move. So be careful about making stupid mistakes, and the West should stop with its arrogance and get real for once.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.
I'm surprised that even got out.
Yes,
on Sky News.
That was about 4 minutes there. I'm surprised it got past the first 30 seconds.
Particularly when he called Israel out as a racist regime that pretends to be a superior race. And he kept saying, it's you people, you Brits, you're the ones who support this racist regime.
Yes.
We don't believe that there is a superior race. We believe that all people are equal. But you support racism.
And isn't that at the very heart of our defense strategy here, that we believe the Jews are a chosen people?
Because that's what the colonizers placed in the minds of the American people.
Right.
They got in their heads and they placed that thought. You must sacrifice your sons on battlefields for us because we are the chosen people.
We're the superior race.
We're the superior race. Americans have no idea how racist the Israelis are. They are absolutely the most racist people on the planet. I hate racism. Racism is wrong. There is not one race is superior or inferior to another race. And if you believe that there is a superior and inferior races, you're a racist.
And guess what? You're in the inferior race.
Yes. So the Israelis believe that they are, quote, the chosen people, although they don't believe in the God that they said chose them, and they certainly don't obey him. But they like to claim that they're chosen. It's an acceptable way that they can tout their racist views.
It's a group of atheists claiming that God chose them.
Wait, say that again.
It's a group of atheists that claim that God chose them.
That's so true.
It is.
That is so true. A group of atheists who claim that God chose them to be the superior race. Anyhow, I made some quick notes as Professor Morandi spoke. Now, you pointed out to me during the interview that he is an American citizen.
He is. Yeah, he was born in Richmond, Virginia.
That's why he speaks English so well.
Yeah, and that's, he went to high school in Richmond and everything. He ended up going to school in Britain and then Tehran. And so, he was born in the U.S.
And so now he's a professor at the University of Tehran. So he said, the racist regime you support. He's talking to the Sky News interviewer, calling Israel a racist regime. He said, this racist regime you support racism. He said, we will hit them much harder. We will beat them into submission. Then he said, be real. Countless missile sites. Iran has countless missile sites. Hundreds of thousands of missiles.
Yes.
And these aren't bottle rockets. These are ballistic missiles.
Right.
And I believe that Iran has intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Have you seen the size of some of the missiles that have landed in Gaza, the West Bank, and Israel? They're bigger than cars.
Are they really?
Yeah, I mean, they're huge.
So he said, look, we have hundreds of thousands of missiles, and we've been preparing for this war. He repeated again that Israel is a racist colony. He said, we will not stand for the persecution of the Palestinians. Then the Sky News reporter said, Iran could lose this war. And he said, we're not going to lose. Iran will hit back much harder. What Israel got the other night was the tip of the iceberg. And he said, you need to end, we will end your support for the superior race. And then the warning to the USA. If the United States gets involved, he said the Iraqi resistance will sweep the U.S. out of Iraq. Now, the Iraqi resistance is a militia. It's not the official Iraqi army.
Right.
It's like as Hezbollah was a militia that was bigger than the Lebanese army,
right.
The Iraqi resistance is bigger than the Iraqi army.
Right.
It's so big they can't do anything about it, okay? But he said, if the United States gets involved, the Iraqi resistance will sweep the Americans out of Iraq. Well, I don't know. How many troops do we have in Iraq right now?
I'll find out.
Without the permission, without the invitation of the Iraqi people. We invaded them years ago on false pretenses, the lie that George Bush told that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, and Tony Blair lied about it, and Colin Powell lied about it, and Dick Cheney lied about it, and we went to war and we lost thousands of American men. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians were killed. We polluted the land with depleted uranium and left the country in a mess, in shambles. And it was all based on lies. Why? Because George Bush jumped when Israel said jump.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. George W. Bush jumped because the Israelis said jump, go to war. So, the Iraqi resistance, Doc, my understanding of it, and I'm not an expert on it, but my understanding is it has probably about 250,000 men in it. That's a sizable army.
Right.
So I don't know how many troops we have in Iraq.
The official report says we have 2,500 troops in Iraq, but that sounds a little low.
Okay, 2,500.
Just day before yesterday, by the way, the Iraqi prime minister said we don't need U.S. troops in here anymore.
Right, they want them to leave.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say we have 2,500. Okay, let's double it. Let's say there's 5,000.
Okay.
There's 250,000 Iraqi resistance fighters. How long are those 2,500 to 5,000 U.S. soldiers going to hold off 250,000 soldiers?
Right. And that's just in Iraq.
That's what I mean, Iraq. So he's saying if the U.S. gets involved in this fight, the Iraqi resistance will sweep the Americans out of Iraq. It'll be a massacre. I mean, remember Benghazi?
Yes.
I mean, this will be Benghazi 100,000 times greater. And then he said all U.S. assets in the Middle East will be targeted and hit.
That's oil companies, facilities,
The bases. U.S.
yes.
bases in Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Jordan. Take a look at how many U.S. military bases are in the Middle East. You'd be shocked if you looked at a map. What he's saying is, you know those hundreds of thousands of missiles we have underground? They're going to target those U.S. military bases. They're going to target U.S. ships in the sea. Again, I ask the American people, what is it about Israel that you're willing to give up your sons for Israel? What is it?
What do we get out of this deal?
Would somebody please tell me, what do we get out of it? Why do American men have to die for Israel? Because we're supposed to die for a group of racists who say they're superior people? That's it? We're supposed to send our sons to war to die for a bunch of racists? Apparently so.
Yes.
When are the American people going to tell the Israelis where they should go? Try it. Try it in America. You can't even be heard. The fact that my voice is still going out in itself is a miracle, because they shut down everybody.
Right.
You speak against the great Oz, the great Zionist Oz.
Behind the curtain. Yes.
Behind the curtain, the racist Oz. You speak against them, and they drop an anvil on you. You get deplatformed, debanked, you get smeared on Wikipedia, you get ostracized because you told the truth about a group of racists. Look, if they want to be racist somewhere, go be a racist, okay? You want to go buy land. Go buy an island. There are islands for sale. They're for sale, Doc. I see islands for sale. Go legitimately buy an island and own it. And go there and be a racist. Don't steal Palestinian land. Don't kill Palestinian children because you think they are subhuman and you are the ultimate superior human and you have the right to kill them and take their land.
Right.
And you have a right to tell the United States of America you're obligated to finance our killing. And you're obligated to send your sons here and die for us. No, just go buy an island. Own it. Do it legitimately. Because you did not get Israel, the state, legitimately. You stole it. You went there in the 30s and the 40s and you stole it. And you're still stealing. You're taking Gaza. You're taking the West Bank. You're going to take Lebanon.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they're going to.
They want Lebanon. I mean, they're saying IDF troops are not going to occupy Lebanon, right? No, they're land thieves. I don't have a problem. You want to go buy an island? Go have a Jewish racist society. Do it legitimately. But stay away from everybody else and don't kill people. Just go have your little island and say we're the superior people, we're the chosen people, this is the land of the chosen people, and you know what? Go live in an island and be happy. But don't kill anybody. Buy the land from the people there. Have a deed that they sold the land to you. You Zionist Jews, you don't have a deed that you bought Palestine. You stole it. And every Jew in the world knows it. You stole the land. And this fighting that's going on is because of stolen land. And because the Jews have to kill every Palestinian to clear their conscience for what they did.
And if Israel did not have the U.S. military support and financing, think how fast they'd be at the negotiating table.
Well, they wouldn't be at the negotiating table. They'd pack their suitcases and go back to Europe and the United States.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right, hey, I'm going to take.
Okay, brothers and sisters. Think about what he just said, if you heard that correctly, because the system was buffering, and I guess you heard that. Anyway, see, these folks have amnesia, a serious case of amnesia, because false Israel is the son of American Britain, Gog and Magog. And they're doing exactly what Gog and Magog did. They stole his land. They killed his people. They said they superior race. Exactly. They're like what they word they use they're like well, that's the word they use. Anyway, they're a small example. In other words, they're an example of exactly American history. You see American history unfolding over there. Exactly what these folks, but they got amnesia, like they didn't do that. Like they didn't steal his land. Like they didn't say they were superior race. They wasn't killing women and children for hundreds of years. And they don't have a deed for this country. Exactly the same thing. That's why it says, right? Their example, right? I like thinking that word they use, right? But they of what exactly American history. And these people like have amnesia. They do. False Israel just doing what they're doing. He said, hey, Dad, wait a minute. Hey, Dad, what you get excited about? I'm just following your footsteps. I'm doing exactly what you did and are doing. See, and these people talk like that. See, that's how they condemn themselves, because he's saying what they doing is bad. So he's actually condemning himself, because if that's bad, then what they did is bad. See, but they got amnesia. See, they got selective amnesia about what they did. Selective amnesia about what they did. See? Because it's like what they did never happened. And false Israel was doing exactly what they did. You understand that, brothers and sisters? False Israel is doing exactly what America and Britain did. Exactly. They following their footsteps. So what you get mad at America and Britain? See? And look at other stuff they were saying. You see? Oh, well, aren't you racist? I'm a racist. I look out for my people. If you want to call it racist, go for it. You want to throw these names out there, name calling. You want to call me racist? Fine. Because racist is something that you started. And there's a superior race. The creators. The original nation. Maker, owner, creator, planner, God of the universe, who made you. So who's superior? The manufacturer or the product? See? but they got selective amnesia. And that's a good example. See? And like that professor, he's like a prophet. Because it's logical. What he's saying is logical. Iran, good war with Iran, and those things he said would happen. They're total economic collapse, especially in the European countries, because they're totally dependent upon oil from the Middle East. I mean, there's a lot into that wrapped into there if you think about it. So, no matter how you look at it, if you look at the part where, they're doing such evil things over there, well, that's exactly, they follow in your footsteps. You gonna smack your child around for doing what you was doing? That makes you a hypocrite. That's what it says, oh, son of man, I'm gonna send you to a hypocritical nation. That's this. The Bible calls it a hypocritical nation, and that's exactly what it is. Let's talk about a couple of other things, brothers and sisters. I mean, I can go on a while about that, but anyway, let's walk. I'll have some other things we'll talk about, brothers and sisters. All right. Let's talk about want and need. There's such thing as things that you want and things that you need. Right? Hold on a second. Let me check something for you a minute. One second, brothers and sisters. Technical issue here. Ooh. Realize that. Okay, it's a little better. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can leave it. Yeah, I can leave it there right now. So, brothers and sisters, want and need. That's very important. See, because what you need to survive, that's your needs. The primary, I mean, if you don't survive, you ain't gonna want anything, are you? That's basic. What you need. Right? You need to breathe. You need these things you need. You may not want to, but you need things you need. And then these things that you want, things that you like, right? You see? So you acquire things you need. So like during energy deprivation, we was in a time of need because we couldn't get things we wanted because our nature was undermined because we didn't have enough energy, right, to maintain ourselves. So the only thing we needed to do was survive. We needed to survive. And we was told the only way you survive is just lay back and take it. Because if you go forward and fight, you're going to die. Because it's a season of mutual shake blood. It's a season of low energy, of debasement. See, because you have less energy, right? You take if you know when you really you're really tired, right? Then you do things right. You want to sleep. You get irritated because you have low energy. You got a lot of energy. You know you do better things and but you got low energy. We had low energy, so then you right, and so Like if you don't have enough food to eat, right, then you're gonna start taking food from other people. You're gonna start stealing and stuff. You're not a thief, but you're trying to survive, right? So if there's not enough food for everybody, if you're on an island, there's not food for everybody. Everybody has to be stealing from other people, taking their food, and they're gonna be back and forth, back and forth. And if it get bad, they start eating each other. That's energy deprivation. Just don't have enough to satisfy your needs, your basic needs. You understand? Needs. Now, the difference between needs and wants. Now, we in a time for us, see, for the time of devils, this is time of want. See, because they was able to get what they wanted. Make them shed blood to follow in food their nature, because they had enough energy to follow through their nature, because their inferior structure requires less energy. The Volkswagen Beetle has an inferior structure than a Lamborghini. So it doesn't take as much to maintain a Volkswagen Beetle as it does to maintain a Lamborghini. So if you lose your job and have much money, then you may not be able to drive a Lamborghini. You might have to put it in the garage or get rid of it, where you can still get around a little Volkswagen Beetle, because, right, it don't cost that much, or it don't cost that much for fuel, maintenance, anything. You understand what I'm saying? See? So, but this is the time of low pressure, right? And the time where the devils, Yaku's grafted people, right? The time they can, because when they was locked up in Europe for 1,000 years, they have anything. They couldn't satisfy their wants, right? Because envy is a sign of you not able to get your wants. And so they'd be very envious. Said, whoa, an envier envies. That means his wants are not satisfied. God tell you that. Whoa, an envies, and that's about to happen, right? Because they're about to go back into back into want again. See? Because when they was there, they want it, but, right? And so they just had to worry about their needs to survive. And then when they came out, God came out. Now, by designating us as animals and everything else, they was to satisfy needs they wants by taking things from everybody else. So now America, oh man, they said the greatest nation. And I'm going to tell you, Sunnis over there, if you see Sunnis come over here, why would a Sunni come over here if they know what they're talking about? They come over to their doom, they'll find out in a few more days. Anyway, the Sunni Arabs, why would you come over here if you have any idea what the Quran's saying? Anyway, so this is their paradise, because now their needs and wants, see, come together. They satisfy their needs, and now they can take care of their wants. This is their paradise. Paradise is when your needs are satisfied, and now you can satisfy your wants when they come together. Understand that? For us, see, it was just to survive, we had to satisfy our needs. It was a struggle. And so that means submit and just work on surviving. Right? Just work on surviving. Satisfying your needs, right? And we weren't even able to satisfy needs, actually. Only to this point that that's a hard cause. We just had enough. We could satisfy just enough to keep ourselves alive. And thanks to the sisters, right? Their sacrifice, we still here. Otherwise, we'd be all demons right now. And I ain't gonna never let you forget that. And he says gonna get rewarded for what they did. Because they put their lives in sacrifice. I'm not going to keep talking about it. If you don't like me talking about it, the change. Because that's what they did. They made a sacrifice. Because their lives on the line. See? So I got so many demons out there. Because they was raping them and everything else they were doing to them. Anyway. Basically, just we was on the mode we was in was just survival. Basic needs just to keep alive. Just keep alive. And that came down to sisters, right? Because she had to produce us, and she had to take our seed. With master had control of even our seed. He had control even our seed. where we could put our seed, we can either sow a seed or not. See, you have no idea what these people, and that's why these folks out here, you say, well, how in the world you be calling these devils bro and stuff? Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. You understand? So what's happening right now is they tricked our people. See, our people, you're always gonna have the wants, because I want to do so, I want to do this, but you can't concentrate on that in a time of need, because you want, right? See, that's your nature, right? To be an actor, nature acting up. Birds want to fly. See? But if their wings are clipped, right? They want to fly, but they can't. So they have sacrifice needs. They have to keep eating and stuff, to maybe the wings grow back. But they don't form a need but they want to fly because that's their nature. And you gods, you want to be gods. You want to take control. That's your nature. That's your nature to do that. But you're in a time of need. And that's how that's one of the ways the devil got you. That's showing our people right now. See? And they just came into full bloom. See, because before they didn't give a damn about your wants. They didn't give a damn about your wants until the 60s. You start asserting yourself, and Elijah Muhammad's come and see and start talking to you. See, you didn't pay attention to Elijah, but Elijah, I told you, it's a mind war. And he was having an effect on the whole world. The whole world knew about him. So you go, you just one little guy here talking. Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you think. The thing is that black folks was most concerned about their needs. Even when I was growing up, most of my needs. I ain't about to want. Man, get a job, man. Get some food on the table. Everybody was concerned about their needs. I'm not talking about wants. And then what happened? The devil flipped the script on your behind. Oh man, don't worry about that. Man, you could be what you be. See, he wasn't telling you that before. He didn't give a damn. But now, you could be all you can be. You can do this, you can do that. You can be whatever you want to be. See? So he had you focus on your wants. He had you focus on your wants when you're still in a need situation. So when you focus on your wants, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to fail. And you focus on your wants in a time of need, because therefore you don't take care of your needs. I got family members, I try to get that point over to them. See, it's all I want to do, so I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do a lot of stuff too, but I learned early on, right, that I had to work on my needs. I looked around, it's like, for instance, after Elijah Muhammad departed, right, I looked around and says, okay, now, because when I was a child, all I wanted to be was a scientist. That's all I ever wanted to be, a scientist. I didn't know about that. I just wanted to be a scientist. I wanted about science. That's my interest. I said, and then especially, okay, I got a family. I got to do these things right. I'm going to do that. Oh, well, computers, that's the new, because they didn't have laptops and stuff at the time. I said, that's where things are going. That's where this economy is going. With my personality, my name and everything else, and my attitude that I carry around, I don't put up no BS, especially from devils. I knew good well I couldn't go out there and work in any place as an employee. So I said I got into that, learned all I could about it, and I started my own business as a contractor. See, so I go out and I get a contract. I work on a contractor's fence, and they love that because they love my work. They didn't like me. And when the contract's over, they always, hey man, they let me go. They want me to stick around because they didn't like me because I don't put that bullshit and I didn't answer their stupid questions like they wanted me to. But they love my job. They love the work I did. I always did it, like Elijah Muhammad said. Well, I was informed in Muhammad Speak newspaper, and I could understand these FOI. If I was working there, I was the foreman, and they was always trying to get away from doing from work. So they came a strategy figure. They knew this was gonna work. They're gonna say, "Hey man, we got to stop for an hour to make prayers every night." They knew that was gonna work, right? Okay, and word got back to the messenger. Messenger sent word back to say, "Hey, we ain't paying you to pray. We paying you to work." You see, and that blew that away. So stuff went down anyway. the point is, I said, look, what I need to do, not what I want to do. Because I got cousins and stuff. You know, one said, I'm going to be Katie Chung. I want to be a newscaster. And spent all that money going to college that never did it one day. And now she spent all years paying that money back. I got another one, want to be what do they call it? It's kind of law, something law enforcement, something like that, right? You know, like a lawyer for law enforcement, whatever, right? I said, what you want to do that for? I said, why don't you get in computers? Because that way there's demand for it. That's what the hell the Indians over here, demand for it, and you can go do that. And you can make quite a bit of money doing that, and you can take care of your expenses, stuff like that, because that's a demand, and they don't care if you black or not. They need somebody to do it. That's why put Indians over, because they don't want you to have it. They need people to do that. And so they're going to bring you in, even if you got 3 heads and 4 toes, they're going to bring you in because if you can do the job. See? And that's what I was thinking. And I was very successful at it. I can still do it now. Right now, I could make a ton of money right now if I want to, because they let you work from home. I could have 2 or 3 contracts, work from home, making $200-$300 an hour. But this is my dedication. This is what I'm focused on right now. You know what I'm saying? Needs. And I got family. I want to do this. I want to do that. I said, okay. And they ain't going nowhere. Failures. In their late 30s and 40s and nothing. Producing the can. That's fair. Don't have a car. I have nothing. Because they talk about what I want. I keep saying, me forget about what you want. Think what you need. Take care of what you need. Because the time will come when your wants will be satisfied. That's paradise. That's why we need to go home. So then our needs are satisfied, and then we can address our wants. That's what paradise is, when needs and wants come together. That's what paradise is, when needs and wants come together. But if you focus on your wants there, and they do that, they definitely do that with the sisters. That's why most sisters are single. They don't have nobody. Because soon they get that ring on their finger, oh man, then you got to satisfy all their wants. Because they figure, some of them figure, once you get a ring, I'm not putting these sisters down, but you sisters know I'm talking about, get a ring and all they think, man, you supposed to put them in paradise, then you supposed to satisfy all their wants. Because they trick you like that. You wasn't like that back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Now you like that. So therefore, that can't happen. So now, he ain't no good. He couldn't do this. He couldn't do that. Well, you see? And the guy, same thing. Oh, I want to do this. And you spend all this money trying to satisfy what you want. Because that's what they want. They want you to focus on your wants. I want this. I want this. I'm going to be in a Cadillac, spend all this money, buy a big old Cadillac, and you're living in a roach-infested room somewhere. Because you focus on what you want. We're in a time of need now. Because I don't want to do this. But I need. They tried to get me to be a minister when Elijah was around. I didn't want to do it. This is the last thing I want to be doing. I don't like dealing with people. I don't like people. I just don't like that. Yeah, I had to sacrifice a lot to do this because I don't have any patience for dealing with people. It seemed to me like you should understand 5 + 5. He said he suffered to do it. So he wasn't working on what he wanted. He never said he wanted to do it. He did it because it was need to be done. And nobody else was willing to do it. So he had to make a sacrifice willingly. He didn't have to do it. But he says it needed to be done, so he did it. Needs, understand the difference between needs and want. Now, when you get home and they don't have the quality of energy, control your energy anymore, and now you can control the quality of your own energy, now you can start satisfying your wants, because you're never going to satisfy your wants over here, because the point is they control your energy. So you're never going to get what you want, because your wants has the quality of energy. You see what I'm saying? In other words, you got cake, you got a chocolate cake, a vanilla cake, a strawberry cake, whatever, right? But you want strawberry. That's what you want. But they don't produce strawberry. They don't produce the other ones. So now you got to take what you don't, that's not what you want. And you're never going to get what you want here. Because they don't give you, they try the quality of your energy, so you always don't get what they want you to have. You're never going to get what you want here. Your wants will never be satisfied here in America. Never. That means you'll never have paradise. You see? You have enough energy to satisfy your needs now, but still no, you're not satisfied. You're not even satisfying that because they control the quality of that. Because our needs right now is unity. And they working hard. That's what false Israel, all that stuff said. Make sure you never achieve that. Understand, brothers and sisters? Let's move on. When your needs and wants come together, married together, that's paradise. And you're never going to have it here, ever. Now, if you see people have it, that means they're demons because they want this world's life. But if Quran tell you there's no portion for them in the hereafter. None, zero. Because they're creatures of this season. Let's talk about something else, brothers and sisters. Now, I talk about amnesia. Let's get this straight about the so-called Civil War. You understand? For 1,000 years, this was an agricultural age for Europeans. That means there were no machines or anything. You go out, you farm, you pick, you whatever, you pick apples off trees. Everything you did manually. There was no machines. There wasn't an idea. That idea didn't come until 500 years ago. So it was our culture age. And so they had tyrants and all, if you want to call it tyrants, always they had the person that, let's deal with Europe. Let's go back in Europe in the so-called Dark Ages. Or you had the nobles, okay? They was massa. And they had some land. Say, okay, you come work on my land, but you got to obey me. So there was the serfs and plebes and what they call them? The serfs and the plebes and I forget the other name they call it, peons and whatever. But it was basically slaves. Well, they were slaves because they had to obey. And the whole movie, Jack Braveheart, was about that because the master of the house, the noble, he had the right. He had control over you and your family. So in other words, if you wanted to get married, right? Because remember, he controlled all the people on this planet, on his land, his little kingdom, little fiefdom, or whatever you want to call it, right? And so you had to get his permission to marry one of his servants, because you're all his servants. So if you wanted to marry one of his servants, you had to get his permission. And if he said okay, then his right was to sleep with her the first night. That's the way, I forget, I can't remember how there's the word dictionary for it, right? And that's the whole movie Braveheart about. He said, I'm not going to do that, right? That's what they was doing. So there was the slaves. You understand? What we went through was great in slavery. They called slavery, that's a misnomer. Right? But there was the slaves. So you had the masters, what was the nobles and whatever, and then you had the peasants. That's the little peasants. Right? Okay. So that's the way it was. So they was, they wouldn't call them slaves. They were their own people, right? In some cases, they may have called them that, but that was the case. They was the servants. They did what the master told them to do, or they got the hell off. They starved different, whatever. That was the feudal, called the feudal systems. You understand? So what happened was that when they discovered guns, they got that technology from China, right? And they found about America. Well, not really America, but you understand all this stuff. The point is that they rebelled against them because they said we can be the masters now. We can be the masters now. Because what happened is that means everybody else became animals. Racism. That's why they came this backwards theory of evolution. They put it backwards. So that means we're not evolving. That means we're animals. You got to understand. I'm not going into detail about that, bro. That's what animal mean. Something that's not evolving anymore, and they're still evolving because they they was black, but they evolved to being whites. They moved on, and we still black. Just like the gorillas, right? We supposed to evolve from gorillas, right? That's what they say. We supposed to evolve from gorillas. We went from gorillas to being black, but the gorillas stopped evolving, so they're animals. They're still gorillas. They're never going to evolve anymore, and so now they evolved to black people. And then black people evolved to white people, but they still black. So that means they're animal. You don't get it? And that's their story. So they still evolving. Right? So we animal. So therefore, if you animal, then we don't own anything. Everything belongs to them. Because we don't say that the sea belongs to the fish, do we? Do we say the trees belong to the birds? No, it belongs to us. They may live in them. The fish may live in the sea, but because they're animals, we control that. So once they made that declaration that they was evolving and we was all animals, the whole world belonged. They'd be instantly rich. Because the whole world belonged. They had nothing. Now the world belonged to them because by that definition, and that's what they did. We took everything everybody had. And they killed everybody else like you do. Kill the animals, eat them. Right? You kill them, no big deal to killing them. You got to understand that. That's exactly their mentality. Their mentality is still the same right now. Because a lion that's hungry, you better not be within 10 miles of him. But once he ate, you can walk around. He ain't going to bother you unless you mess with him. Once he's full, he ain't going to bother you. But let him get hungry again. You better not be around. You understand? So that's what happened. See, that's how they got rich. See? And they stole this land. I mean, I go back and I already told you what he said, that thing I just showed you, right? Okay. So they were agricultural age for 1,000 years, right? So they had them people doing it. But so now they had us doing it. So now we was the serfs, we was the peasants. You see? Now they was the kings now. Before they was the serfs and peasants. Now they reversed the script. See? And they was doing the same thing master was doing to them. They was raping our women and everything else. Raping our women and everything else. You understand? Okay. But then they came out the industrial age. And they didn't need people to go out and pick stuff anymore. They had a cotton gin. They didn't need people to do all this stuff anymore. They need you to do it anymore. See? You better go check these things out, brothers and sisters, because that's what the Civil War is all about. It was not about this guy, Lion Dog, Tony Robbins. He's some kind of motivator. He's so full of shit. Well, they wrote this book about, somebody wrote a book about Uncle Tom's Cabin. I don't know if you heard about this book, but it's a book about slavery. And Uncle Tom, that's where the word Uncle Tom comes from, because this guy who was Uncle Tom, he was worse than that guy, Stephen in the Django. Right? Or whatever his name was, Stephen or whatever his name was. And somebody wrote a book, and it was a very popular book, because white folks love that kind of stuff. This is back in the 20s, or back in the Civil War time, they wrote this book. Now he claimed that, well, white folks read that book, said, man, they got angry and said, man, we got to stop it. We got to stop slavery. And that's bullshit. It had nothing to do with that. They didn't need you anymore. And I got documentation to prove it. They didn't need you. They wanted time to figure out how they going to get rid of your ass. They didn't need you in the fields anymore. So the problem is that they start building plants. They don't call them plants anymore, do they? It was short for plantation. They said, oh, these niggas might figure it out, man. Don't call them plantation anymore, call them factories. Because that's what they were. There was new plantations. See? But they had their own people working those places, right? And what Mass said, well, I make my money off these slaves. I don't need them anymore. I got cotton and stuff. I got all these people, right? So he said what he did is he would go into the plants and say, okay, I will lease out my slaves to you, right? And you paying these devils $10 an hour or whatever. That would be a lot of money back then, right? $10 an hour. You could get my slaves for $2 an hour because they won't get the money. And they're going to work. They ain't going to give you no lip. They're going to work. They ain't going to get tired, right? And they're going to work hard. All you got to do is give them $2 an hour. And that all money's coming to me anyway. And that's what it's all about. It's economics. Because devils got men say, I can't compete with that because I can't get a job here because they got those slaves there and they make $2 an hour. I think only way he'll hire me if I got to go for $2 an hour. I can't work for $2 an hour. And they try to make compromise. They try to negotiate. He said, no. The South said, no, because I need to do something with these slaves. I got them. And I put them in the factories. And the guys in the factory owner said, yeah, hell yeah, man. Cause I only got pissed, got these two, and I ain't got no problem with them. They ain't going to take no breaks or anything. They don't give me no lip. And I'm saving $8 an hour. That's what it's all about. That's all about. And then that's what the war about. And when the war was over, the first thing they did, they gave 4 acres to mule, they get any of that stuff. No, first of all, they took it and stopped. They put you back in worse conditions. I'm not going into the details. And this is the North doing it. They try to send some of you back to Africa. That's why you have Liberia. And that Link said that was too expensive. Right? And they didn't give you the 4 acres and a mule. And a lot of blacks got away. They ran out in way out in the country, right? And they started their own little towns and stuff. And when white folks found about it, they wouldn't burn them down. You seen movies about it, they burn them down. And they started setting up guilds and apprenticeships and unions to keep you out. Because it was about economics. It wasn't about they care for you, love. Because they have slaves. They make you think all slaves in the South. We think Harriet Tubman. Look where she was slaved at. She was a slave in New York. Where do you think Wall Street comes from? Wall Street that's the name of, it was called Wall Street because that's they lined slaves up against the wall when they were selling them. It was a slave market. See, they don't want you to know this stuff. And some of you don't care anyway if you know it. That's why you're so messed up. Because they got you in that want-need situation. Because you after your wants. And you sacrifice your needs so you have nothing. Anybody go for their wants and skip about their needs, they're going to have nothing. Just think about it. See? And that's why our children are messed up. Because they're all out for their wants. I want to do this, I want to do that. Are you holding me back? You don't understand. You ain't supporting me. Why can't I get what I want? Okay, you go for that. And that's why they're all messed up. That's another trick they use against you. Psychological. Because that's your nature. Everybody want. So it's hard to say, oh, with difficult disease, you got to put away. You got to put aside your wants and take care of your needs. Because needs is what keep you here, not wants. Understand? So let's move on, bro. So that's what Civil War is all about. And when in that case, it was about slavery, because that's slavery part of the Holocaust. That's the economic part. That's what it's all about. Let's move on to something else, brothers and sisters. Let's talk about seasons. Well, okay, let's talk about right now the reality. The reality right now, see, remember, energy, this is energy that basically means the low quality thinking, low quality everything. Make me shed blood. Because, I mean, think about it. If there's not enough energy around, if you don't have, say, for instance, you're on an island and there's not enough food to take care of everybody, right? Well, what you're going to be doing, you're going to make mischief. You're going to be stealing people. You're going to be shedding blood. That's what you're going to be doing. That tell you, because there's not enough. If everybody's got enough food and everything, you ain't going to be doing that. Like a lion is hungry, right? What does he do? He's making mischief. He sneak up on your ass. And what are you going to do? Shed your blood when you're hungry. You got to understand why they say these things like that. So it's time to make mischief shed blood because there won't be enough energy for everybody. You see? And the people that will have it would be weak people. They have less discipline. Right? And so, remember, the devils could have got what they got without making mischief and shedding blood. But they didn't know that because they got weak minds. They're weak and wicked. So they did it in the way they see it. That's another story. I'm not going to that, but something I talked about that in the past, right? Because if you give a pig, you put a pig in a pen and you put a lamb in a pig and in a pen, different pen, you're going to come with two different results. Because the pig, he's going to come back with slobber. He likes that. The lamb, he's going to have a different experience. So by them being weak, they're going to have wicked ideas. And they're going to steal when they could just, they're going to lie. It doesn't profit them, but that's what they'll do. And see, I can make that more clear, but I'm going to move on, bro. It's just, what I'm trying to tell you is that that's the season. And so this season of them, that's what they're going to do. They're taking from everybody else. They didn't have anything, so they make that lie about they were, right? But it was fine. But see, they was given permission to do that. Well, I'm not saying they get permission to do that because that was the season for it. So therefore, the sealed Bible supports that because the sealed Bible, the Bible is your mind that you need to survive in that period of time, to be the best, most successful, and to be successful during a time of energy deprivation is to make mission shed blood. And so there was slavery was in there, All that stuff, enslaving people. And the people that's enslaved, they're told to submit to being enslaved. Think about that. You ever think about that? The Bible, the sealed Bible, right, promotes slavery. And it tells the slaves to be in submission to that process. Think about that. Remember, Ham was told, they was condemned. God said, you're going to be slaves for the rest of your life. Eternity. Right? And then Christ, well, yeah, you got to submit to that. See, that's the sealed Bible, because that's the mind you had to survive during the wicked season, the winter season, the season of low energy. You see? See, let me leave it there. Okay, you understand? That's the season. But see, we in this is where we are right now, and that's what happens now. Now the spring is coming in, right? See, so this mind, God can make God, they have control. I'm not sure falls Israel, they actually the God this whole thing. I'm just showing God, American Britain, right? And everybody under control of them. And then Suleiman comes along, right? And the spring is coming. And that energy is increasing, right? And so a new world's coming in because the energy is increasing. Okay. And so bring in a new. Okay. And so you're either crushed by it or you're pushed out the way. So the nation is pushed out the way, the nation survives. And the root of it is crushed. See? Because they're going to be crushed. Because the other nations, right? Other nations, some other nation was around, been around. Like you got Esau, right? Ishmael, those nations, right? India, those nations was around, been around long before those came on the scene. See? So they could withstand the pressure of this time. And so they pushed out the way. But it's the devils, they was created under low pressure. So when high pressure comes, they're crushed. They cannot withstand it. Because they was made under low pressure. Understand? Let's get back to here. So yesterday I just put 4 in there, but now I'm trying to give you a basic, right? See, you have false Israel. This is the so-called Old Testament stuff, right? And it's following that. Now, when it was Prophet Isa ibn Yusuf or Miriam that you called Jesus came on the scene, right? Okay, they was under that, the Old Testament. The mindset was on the Old Testament. You see? Judaism. That was the mindset. Okay? And so, something here. Oh, there it is. No. Hold on, brother, sister. Hold on. I dropped something here. Nope. How is that possible? Well, things do happen. Okay, good. So the Old Sealed Bible, that was the so-called Old Testament. And then according to what they said, then Jesus came with the so-called New Testament. Right? But they was fighting against, so Christians fighting against them because they said, oh, we can't, we're not under the law. So it's basically a fight between them. Because they were saying, see, that said you had to be a discipline. That was a discipline. Right, but they were superior race and all that kind of stuff, right? But they was under the law, they had to apply discipline. So he came on and said, "Oh, we don't know, man." They still had that uploaded, right? Well, they didn't actually. They had to upload it because during that time, you had the Romans and all that kind of stuff, right? They didn't have anything to do with that. So at that time, this one, the so-called Jews had this. Now, I want to be careful with that one, right? Anyway, these people had it. See, and then he came along, but they didn't. They're so-called new, but they said, but there was a fight between the people that was following so-called Jesus. He had this guy named Paul. There's too much history I'm gonna get here, but I'm gonna try to summarize this, right? Paul never met Jesus. Didn't know anything about Jesus. He was against Jesus' teaching, if you want to call that person back there Jesus, the one that presented the so-called New Testament. He was an enemy to it. And he was called Saul. And one day he claimed he had his revelation and he saw Jesus or whatever, and then he converted and then he started helping him. But he really attacked it. See, you gotta be careful. Was he the Pharisee of the day? Because when you read the scripture, he was really against what Jesus was teaching. Because he said, "Oh, we don't need the law, we don't need any of that stuff." And that's where the Catholic Church came in, because you had a conflict between them, and you had the Roman Church, everything. So it wasn't really a religion; it was really an attack on the religion that Jesus came about. It was really an attack because he didn't go against anything that was in the so-called Old Testament. They said, "Oh, we don't need the law, we don't need all this stuff, or we just could believe in Jesus." And so they took the law out of it, took discipline out of it. And that's when they fell, because the Romans had a level of discipline. Jews had a level of discipline, and people called them Jews. But when they introduced Christianity, had no discipline. You had no discipline. All you had to do was confess to the church. I said, energy times discipline equals power. So they rendered themselves powerless. See? And so the Roman Empire fell apart. Why did it fall apart? It fell apart because Christianity started growing. That was Christianity, Catholicism. Let me get that straight. That's why Les said Christianity is only 500 years old. Catholicism is not Christianity. Catholicism is a mixture of Romanism and all other kind of stuff. They got statues and everything else. There's a compromise. But it took discipline out of it. I mean, it did that. The Roman Empire collapsed because they had lost power. It was Catholicism that broke the power of the Roman Empire because they had a level of discipline, and it broke it. And they said they set a new Roman Empire that was called Catholicism because the Pope was the Caesar down. That's a lot of details I want to go into, but but anyway, they lost power. And they lost power, right? Then there was enough room, there was a vacuum there, and Prophet Muhammad came along and started teaching the Arabs discipline of the Quran, and that they became the power. Because Prophet Muhammad taught discipline. You had to be disciplined. You had to follow these rules. You had to follow the law, which the Catholic Church had denied the law. No discipline. The Catholic Church is all about no discipline. All you got to do is do whatever, love Jesus, call on Jesus. If you do make a mistake, go tell the priest, confess. Said no discipline. You understand? I'm trying to mask behind it. So that's why it collapsed. The whole empire, because it hit the Roman Empire, the whole thing collapsed. When that happened, Master Prophet Muhammad came and started teaching discipline, and all of a sudden they became the powerhouse. You see? They didn't have as much energy as the devils, but the devils had no discipline. Remember, he has energy times discipline equals power. They had more energy, but they had no discipline. So therefore, they had no power. So that's why Prophet Muhammad came along and he told them discipline. And so therefore, they took power for 1,000 years. They had power for them. Until Britain broke away from the Catholic Church, and they called themselves Protestants. They went back to the Old Testament and started applying discipline. That's what they call them Puritans, right? They were so disciplined. They was going to obey all the laws and everything else. So bam, they started gaining power again. And because they had more energy than the Sunnis, right? Because their structure, because as soon as it's original, they done turned themselves white by then, right? But the point is they still was original, but they was telegraphed, they had more energy. So applying discipline made them have more power than Sunnis. Because they had more energy than Sunnis did, all they had to do was apply the discipline. So now they overpowered the Sunnis. And for the last 5 years, they had Sunnis on their knees. See, come on. No. See, the point. The Quran's everything. No. The Quran's outdated. It's outdated now. Because now is a time of mission shed blood. Now is the time of the devils. All they had to do is apply some discipline. And they apply discipline, right? And so now you see the new reality you have right now. But at the point, they overrode them. And they haven't been able to do anything to them. It says in the Quran that you might have God and make God locked up, but we're going to release him. And when you release him, nobody can be able to destroy them but myself. That's what he said. You ain't going to be able to do it. So we're not getting to the general, that kind of stuff, right? But you understand what I'm saying here? And that will go on. So the Christians, right? The 1,000 failed. Then when they went into the Dark Ages, lost the discipline, then Islamic Empire rose. But that's what chapter 20, right? And then they broke away Catholic Church, Protestants, discipline. Okay, now the world is in, right? It was in the Islamic mind. Now they got the sealed Bible mind, called Christian mind, 500 years old. See? Right. The Europeans had the Catholicism mind. Now the world got a Christian mind. That's the mind that's prevailing now. Because why? That's the mind successful because this is the winter season. And that mind tells you how to deal with the winter season. See? The Islamic Empire, that mind prevailed because that was the fall. Right? And that's the mind who prevailed during that time. You could not stand against them. Right? So for like the Roman Empire, back there. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying? So now you got the winter. And so now you're going into the spring. And that mind is failing. And the root of that mind, right? The cornerstone of that mind, that's false Israel. People that you heard the guys, why are they so interested in false Israel? Why protect false Israel? Because false Israel is the cornerstone of this whole thing. Because that's what's suppressing. That's their effort to keep the spring from coming in, to keep that mind from activating. See, I explained to brothers, and he's still saying it, but he'll get it. We don't have to upload the angel anymore. We never had to upload it. It's already there. It's just be activated. They upload the angel to us 500 years ago when they boys over here started teaching us the Bible and Christianity, all that kind of stuff. So that was uploaded then is just inactive. Because when they upload the Bible, that was in the Bible. It was just inactive language. But it was in there. And somebody had to come and activate it. Once activated, that means it's springtime now. And the winter cannot withstand the spring. It cannot withstand the spring. That's what I say. Who can stand? The winter cannot withstand the pressure of the spring. It cannot do it. It's impossible. So they can do everything. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. They're trying to hold back the spring. And Suleiman is the one that's bringing in the spring. They can't stop him either. That's what it's all about, brothers. I hope you understand. I try to make it as simple as possible. They cannot. And Farrakhan, all of them, they're personification of this winter. And all those people, ministers represent him, everything else, they all want to. What happens to snow and the sleet and the hail and all that stuff when spring comes? It may be powerful in the winter, but it ain't shit when the summer, when spring comes, is it? You have igloos, you have ice castles, right? You can have ice spears and everything else. You be powerful, man. You're the man. Like Tarzan of the winter. Man, you're super powerful. Got cannonballs, ice balls, You see what I'm saying? Polar bears. But then when spring comes, all that stuff just gone. And everything that with the winter goes with it. So demons, all of them going with it. They be swept away. Their resistance, they fighting against consequence. They fighting against, they fighting against consequence too, right? Because they fighting against, in other words, you had, okay. I shouldn't go into that. So I might as well speak to it something there. Remember, they say the believers are the one that accept the new reality. And that's the scripture they give you. That's the new mind. The disbelievers are the ones that hold on to old mind. They like the world life. They like the way things are. They want to hold on to it. The gin. I ain't doing that. I like things like they are. The agenda times, right? Okay. And you also, but how? Like when winter goes, how does it go? Does it go peacefully? How does it go? The winter. I mean, when the winter comes, the spring comes in, right? The winter go all kinds of ways it can go, right? The way it goes depends on the consequence of that winter, what the winter did. So I had to explain that. I didn't mean to go there. So how the winter carry itself? Like I said, those that love this world's life, they get it. It hates to them, but no portion of it. But how do they go out? They have to depend on the consequence of how they carry themselves during that period of time. So devils, the way they carry this, because how they remember, we're the spring people. We had to be in the winter to get to the spring. We're the personification of the spring, but we had to live through the winter to be around for the spring. So how did the winter people treat us? That means that's how we're going to treat them when we come into power, doing them as they've done to you. But if they treat us nicely, then they would just fade away. Burn. Okay, they died a natural death. You understand, brothers and sisters? I didn't really want to go there. I say so much stuff, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave that with there for now. I can go much more detail with that one. Because the winter, how they treat us. So we had to be alive to all this. We had to be alive to all those transitions. Back during in the autumn, who was betrayed? They betrayed us. How did they do? So now they got to pay the consequence of their betrayal of us. Now you understand what's going on over in the Middle East and everything else? See, they'd still be alive, right? To go to the next level. So, but they had the consequence of how they carried themselves during that level. See? Everybody has to consequence. Everybody has to pay consequence. What they did. And we have to pay the consequence of how we conduct ourselves during the winter. How we conduct ourselves. We just took it. We didn't fight back. So that means it was positive for us. Because the consequence was a positive consequence for us by not fighting back. So because in other words, if you put them under pressure, it's either crushed or transformed. So by us not, because if we was fighting back, there would have been a consequence for that. But by accepting it and submitting, right, then the consequence was a positive consequence. That means it was transformed to God's. Does that make it simple enough for you, brothers and sisters? The message said the truth be so clear, even food and air. This message is so clear, brothers and sisters. I forget about this complex stuff. Here's a little higher level. Just the basic stuff. Abomination, desolation. Right? Aaron deceived the people after Elijah departed. This easy stuff, brothers and sisters. Basic. See? I've been over here 40 years. Abrahamic covenant. All these things are very simple. So you say, how come these people were deceived? Well, is that a consequence of their... Some people lost for lack of knowledge. Is that a consequence of something? It is a consequence. I don't want to go too deep in that one, brothers and sisters. But they lost. That's a consequence of something. So why was they having lack of knowledge? Well, lack of knowledge is why they was lost. But the lack of knowledge is a consequence of what? Consequence of something they did. Because everything's a consequence. I'm not going to that any further, bro. I don't get that. That's another set for another time. Okay, let's talk about a couple more things. I'm gonna close out, brothers and sisters. The quality of power. That's it. We control quality. We can't control quantity. Control quality. See? Now, even if you have discipline, Master Muhammad, he had extraordinary discipline. He had to. Right? He came here. But while he was here, they was controlling the quality of his background. We got to stay, because he's one of them. We have to go home, put our collective needs and wants, and we have to control the quality of our. That's it. You leave out here with great substance, but you don't. The reason why you couldn't leave out here with great substance if you don't have substance, great substance, but you don't recognize it because it's in the control. It's in the form they have you doing it. So therefore, you don't recognize the substance you have. You don't recognize it because in the form they want it to be. See, because you hear they like dogs. I hate dogs. Now I don't want to do anything against dogs, but these people are filthy and nasty. I mean, they take dogs in the restaurants and places, man. Oh, and you could have allergy. They if you're a Lyft driver or something like that, man, you can't refuse to put a dog in your car, and you could be totally high allergic like I am. They're sick with this, and these animals. And that's the reason why you got disease, because you can't find no trace for all this disease and stuff before Europeans came around here. In fact, these so-called common cold people here didn't even have that because they so close to these damn animals. They're the ones who brought syphilis and all this disease and stuff into the world. They brought it into the world. It says they would. Or diseases and stuff, they brought this stuff into the world. And now they got you walking around picking up dog shit. Ass hanging out. You see nothing wrong with any of that? People see all the crack of your ass and everything else. You don't see anything wrong with that? Because they got you going, got your mind. Because they got you still under the master's mind. And now it's time, that time is broken. 2020, now you're not under the obligation anymore. See? But if you're stuck in this world's life, right? Could that be one of the reasons why you have lack of knowledge? Could that be one? I said I'm going to touch that, bro, sister. But we're seeking a message of covenant. But you doing right? Because remember, I don't care whether you're blind, crippled, crazy. It doesn't matter. Consequences don't know anything about all that. A baby could fall off a 10-story building. Consequences, well, that's a baby. No. Don't work that way. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Quality of power. Okay, let's look at, and I think I'm going to leave it at this. At this one point, brothers and sisters. I told you, so-called civil war was because they didn't need you anymore. They tell you they don't need you anymore right now. They're saying that AI right out the gate is going to kill 40% of the jobs in America. 40% right out the gate. I can show you. I got the proof. They have it now. A lot of stuff that right now they have in China. They got stuff automated. This is a Pep Boy, so that kind of stuff. All that stuff is automated. They haven't done it here because they're saying, what's going to happen? What these niggas going to do? Right? They don't need your Burger King anymore. They don't need your McDonald's anymore. They got machines that flip that stuff. They got stores right now. You go in, nobody in there. Automated stores. They don't need you anymore. So what they're going to do is, that's why I say, got to find a way to get rid of you without you knowing. See? And they got to do it quick. It's got to be fast before you recognize what's going on. Now I'm having a presentation of doing that more deeply, so I'm just going to touch it here and there, brothers and sisters. Right? But When you understand it, India explains everything. To understand why false Israel is there, why they have to have it there, because they got to keep you from realizing who you are. Because otherwise, that means you're going to start using energy for unity rather than out here fighting each other and NFL and all that BS that you're doing. Because you got their mind still, and their mind is against you. That mind, your mind is against them, and their mind is against you. So your mind is not activated. It's there. It's up already loaded. It's up there. That's the angel mind. It's up, that's the Lord who you seek. That's the one that's going to turn you home and give you power, empower you, and put this women back on the top level where they should be. Time of the female, all this stuff. But they have you with this devil's mind, Christian mind, right? You just the opposite. You ain't supposed to be nothing. You're supposed to do what man tell you to do. You ain't supposed to be nothing. You ain't nothing special about you or anything else. You're lucky you even alive. The devils even be nice to you. They should beat you and everything else because you ain't about nothing. And you still got that mind. You got that attitude. You see? That's what's... So the thing is, but they don't need you anymore. They tell all these jobs are going away. They're trying to figure out how to get rid of you. You know my age was one let me say this, I'm going to close out, bro. I'm going to give you one example. I'll give a bunch of examples. I think I'll say a presentation on this just by itself. COVID. Now, COVID was designed to kill blacks. That's just the way they designed it. They set over in China, right? And this dude, they developed it. That was the point. That was one of the mechanisms. Because remember, they got abortion. All these different things I explained about ways to get rid of you. So COVID was one of the ones. They got something else coming too. Right? They had what's the other thing they had over in Africa? They keep saying it's coming out of Africa, right? All of a sudden, all these diseases come out of Africa. Why? They all came out of Europe. All of a sudden, everything aged, everything going to Africa. See, because they want to blame everything on the Africans. Because they're trying to get rid of you. That's the propaganda. Anyway, the bottom line is, that's the narrative. Anyway, the bottom line is that it was designed to get rid of you. See? But it backfired. See? It's kind of funny when you think about it, but I don't know if it's funny or not, but it backfired. How did it backfire? Because they tested it. Who they tested on? They tested on demons. Because demons work for them because they want to please master, right? See, they got them in there testing on them. Yeah, we let you, we could test, they trust master, right? They test on demons. But demons got same DNA they got. So it's working. It was not the demons they were testing on. So then they released it. And all of a sudden it was killing all of them. And it wasn't killing original people. It didn't touch Africa. See, go check it. Don't take my word for it. Go World Health Organization. It didn't touch it. They weren't doing a social distance, nothing. It didn't touch Africa. And it wasn't touching Haiti either. So they killed the president to make him take the COVID virus, take the COVID shot, because he refused to take it. In Africa, they some things happened there too. They found out. But anyway, the bottom line is it wasn't affecting original black people, but it was killing them. And they could understand it because it worked the other way because they had tests on demons. And when they figured out, they stopped. They stopped it because it was working in reverse. It was working the whole way. Because they have a plan and Allah has a plan. See, so their creation, their Frankenstein turned on them. See, they created Frankenstein and they didn't realize it. They test on those demons because demons, yeah, I work with you, master. Demons, that's what I said. Demons got the same DNA they got. See, and because it wouldn't kill, because I got it, if you got it, it didn't kill you. I mean, I got a taste of it and got a little sniff or something for a few days and it was gone. It didn't kill me. It didn't put me in the hospital or nothing. Because you get it, but it wouldn't kill you. I explained that a long time ago. Back in 2020 when it came out, I explained how this thing would work. That it wasn't made to kill black people. It wasn't made, right? It was made to kill black people. But the point is, it backfired because they test on demons. So now they back off now. I'm gonna leave it there, bro. So here's a, well, let me finish. I would say the point is they don't need you anymore. So that's why they have false Israel. That's why they protect the false Israel, because they got to make sure you never catch on to what's going on. Because if false Israel goes down, it means you must be a true seed of Abraham, and that destroy their whole reality. That because false Israel is not only keeping our minds confused, keep us in that Christian mindset, because we ain't the chosen people. Because see, they're over there. But only that, right? But if they go, and that means this whole thing turns upside down. Because that means they evil. They're evil, and we just shoot Abraham. They've been doing that. See, it destroys this whole reality, destroys this whole Christianity, all this whole thing. If false Israel goes down, that's why they got protected until they get rid of us. See, and so therefore, when they Burger King and stuff, remember before when they install those things, they got to have people there to install it and make sure it works and everything else. Is study it and work with it for a few days or a month or whatever to make sure everything's working. Get this thing set up. They need a transition team. But you can't be a transition team because you're the one they've got to get rid of. You're the ones they got to get rid of you so they can install those things. So they need a transition team, right? They can come in and do that, and then that's why they're letting people cross the border. You know, I was at what was I at? I forget I was out today. Anyway, you go to these places right now, right? And who's in there? You know how I see any black folks in there anymore? Hispanics, or maybe Asians. But you ain't there. You go to Walmart, you ain't there anymore. They send you up to get rid of your ass. They don't need you anymore. And they're the transition team. Because after you gone, they make transition to the automated stuff, and then they go home. That's the whole idea. That's why this stuff why are they banning cross around me? Why are they helping false Israel? Because it don't make any sense, because you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. And that's what I need to tell you. But you're going to find in a minute, because matter of fact, I'm going to pull the plug. All the comments, he's going to do it before they have they're playing right now, but he's going to make this move before they can finish their plan. Because if Master Muhammad doesn't make this move this year, by next year, most of you be dead. Because what's going to happen if you wake up one morning and you ain't got no job? Say half the blacks in America, it's 17 million of us, it's 17 million of demons, but say 16 million, say 8 million of yours, what you going to do? Say it's only 2 million. They going to say I'm going to starve to death? They'll tear this country apart. They always say what happened to George Foreman and stuff. Well, not George Foreman, George Floyd. Whatever his name was, George Floyd, whatever his name was. You understand what I'm saying? They got to get rid of you. They're going to make this transition. They don't need you. Why are they going to pay $10,000 a month for salaries when they could bring a robot in there and maintain for $100 a month? These people have money. They don't need you anymore. And that's, you got to figure out a way to get rid of you. And so that's why you have to bring people across the border. They're transitioning. Because you see, they work in all these places. Every place they work, they got all these jobs now. If they ain't got them, the Indians got them. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. Leave it there, brothers and sisters. I had a lot of stuff I would talk about, but I got to talk about a lot of things. So maybe I'll talk about other things tomorrow. I had a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I'm trying to keep these down to a minimum because they keep messing with my systems, and I don't want to end up doing 2 or 3 hours, right? And then the whole thing just fails. So I'm just going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's go through this. I forgot something, yeah. Because I was going to cover all this, brothers and sisters. This is another hour. But I talk a little more about those particular subjects I talked about. Because you're going to experience in a minute. When Iran, like that guy said, when they cut loose, so economy's collapsing. When it collapsed, that's when you're going to wake up. You're going to have to. Because you're going to have to focus on your needs then. You ain't give a damn about your wants then. Then you're going to focus on your needs. That's when discipline going to kick in. That's you'll be listening to the message of the covenant then, because you'll be focusing on your needs then. That's what's going to happen. We got to get you focused on your needs. See? See, they don't know about any of these things. They don't know what the dragon is. They don't know what the devils are. They don't know what the jinn are. Yes, they don't know who those people are. They're invisible. All that's being invisible. Demons ain't no how. All that stuff is invisible stuff. Here you are. That's where you're going to return back to. Look at these beautiful sisters. Boy. Time of the woman. Okay. We're going to see it in a few more days, brothers and sisters. He's out. Tic Toc. Tic Toc. They're going to out him. They was going to out him. Once that economy collapses, they're going to admit, they're going to out himself. Not that it makes a difference because he's going to be going anyway. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Let it go. Future news out.